Hello, everybody. I'm Dylan Stern, and I'm known as Checkmate.
And I'm Mason, known as Zoro Fourth Sword, and we're both members of the varsity Overwatch Esports team.
And we also won our Northeastern Regional this past weekend, and this is the third place match against Ripon University and our JV Green Bay Overwatch team.
Looking to go to Nepal? No, they banned Nepal, going to
Ilios here.
And the Sim and Lucio ban, I believe.
The side of Ripon banned Lucio, and then we responded with that Ametryo ban.
Yeah, looks like we got a target ban on Mr. Snarky Goblin there for that Lucio ban. And maybe the Ametryo ban because they're walking out on Sigma or Orisa.
Yeah, it makes quite a lot of sense. They do have a strong Ametryo player on the side of Ripon.
Yeah, and with Orisa being one of the main tanks on JV, also Sigma gets countered by Sim pretty hard just because she can farm charge on his shield and shoot through his eat.
Mm-hmm.
So both good bans from each side.
Yeah, and this past weekend, this was a match during the round robin, and Green Bay took that one, so they're looking for the rematch and to close this one out with a strong record, taking third place.
I don't remember, was it 2-0 in the match in the round robin, or was it 2-1?
I think it was 2-0.
2-0?
I don't think there was any 2-1s.
Okay, so maybe looking to make some swaps here, and that's probably why the Lucio was banned there, trying to change up the strategy and counter ban a little bit more.
Yep.
But the Ametryo ban is going to be pretty bad for the Ripon side, just because that's one of the easiest counters to both tank players that UWGB JV has.
Yeah, and I don't really know that I like Ilios too much for Sigma, so maybe he walks out on something else, but Ruins, and I think Sigma's best map is probably Ruins.
Yeah, I'd say so. Just because there's a lot of... He doesn't have to stay on point the entire time, unlike Well, where if you're not on point, you're just that choke.
Yeah. And we've been told that it was 2-1 in the group stage, so it was a close match, and we look forward to seeing how they're going to change things up this time around. Hopefully they've learned a thing or two.
My other caster seems to have disappeared, but just having some tech stuff going on here. Looks like we're loading in on Ilios.
We can thug it out. We can go.
Yeah, that's all good. All right, so we do have the Orisa coming out to be expected.
Oh, that we do. And it looks like a Dominus Soldier and then a Juno Wu Yang backline with a Soldier Reaper combo. And a Hanzo, Kiriko, Mizuki, Cass, and Orisa. So Orisa versus Domina.
I think that's losing for Orisa.
I will say some of my very limited words to the JV team before they started was to respect the beams and don't play Orisa. But I think that they know best, so we're going to see them run that. So we will see about that.
Yeah, just Domina's primary fire being able to go through Javelin. It's going to be pretty tough for the Orisa to deal with. And she's going to have to rely on her Fortify a lot more and save cooldowns effectively. So we'll see how that matchup goes.
I got it. It was a monitor setting.
And then we do have a interesting DPS matchup, Reaper into Cass, so hopefully that'll give some interesting plays.
I really like the Cass into the Reaper and the Juno. Take advantage of that. I do worry about the Soldier against that Cass matchup on the sidelines there for the off angles. If Soldier gets a pretty long sight line, it's not going to be too favorable for the Cassidy player there. But I do like to see potentially this Hanzo start tagging those angles a little stronger.
Yeah, and Soldier can reposition way faster than Cass can because the sprint doesn't have a cooldown that lasts indefinitely, as well as having less damage fall off. So maybe on a map like Ruins, it won't matter that much because there aren't as many super long sight lines, but you'll still have the advantage at mid to long range overall the entire match.
I agree. Just waiting on this pause here so everything gets sorted out, and then we're going to go live into the game. It looks like we're also starting on Ruins here, so okay, I've been told that it might change because they're going to have to restart some settings. I believe they got the code wrong or something, but we will see as they work at these issues.
I'm expecting to see maybe some interesting Orisa ults. I don't really know on Ruins, or maybe in Well. I've seen people do the thing where you jump into Well and pull people in.
It's pretty tough.
That would be pretty cool.
And pretty sweet graphic here that we got of all of our players here getting ready to go.
Oh, look at that. I see myself. Where did my co-host go? There he is. Holy tough.
Some Doom queuers in the back. And we're going to Well. Hopefully that's the map. Should be locked in here. So I like to see how this influences things. I mean, I would love to see a Roadhog on the side of JV on this map, especially into a Domina. I feel like that's a semi-favorable as long as he takes his space.
Yeah, as long as he keeps his space and doesn't use his heal in front of the Domina when she has push, because that'll interrupt it and then give some good window to kill there. So we're rolling out on the same comp as before. Not that either player, either side would have had knowledge of what the other side was picking. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Bloodrock.
Things were a lot simpler when I was robbing banks with the Deadlock gang.
I think this support matchup is favorable towards Green Bay.
I believe so as well.
They just have more utility.
We'll show them a trick or two.
But I'll let you handle this game.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are just walking down main here. Besides, the Orisa's going to that right corner. Looks like he's going to try taking the health pack room. The side of Ripon here going to take that entrance into main. Yep, going to health pack. Reaper's no range. He's going to poke out on that left side. Ripon is pretty low here. Down goes Ruby. Excellent pick by Cassidy, like you said. Should be a favorable matchup for us. And then looks like we're just trying to take these angles here. Dominic healed up. Expecting a pretty heavy contest on the side of JB. They're up one here. Boulder falls quite low. Domina quite low as well. Looks like JB is going to be pushing pretty hard for that first capture point here. Reaper's back on the point. Getting quite low. Only that, and it looks like he is captain. Down goes Tide with the Helix rocket on Soldier. And it looks like slight disengage here. Soldier and Reaper can take an off angle here. Down goes Plum Rock. Suzu comes out, and it looks like a just general cleanup on the side of Ripon here. Excellent off angle taken by the Soldier and Reaper. Very well executed.
Yeah, that was a perfect engage, especially the Juno getting ring to the Reaper there. He was able to walk down. And I think Domina is going to be very effective on this map because the angles are so narrow that her shield covers the entire area.
Yeah, and it looks like somehow Plumrock on the Honda goes down, maybe a stagger. Regardless, looks like they're holding pretty aggressive here into their spawn room. We're going to look how JB comes to overcome this. It's quite low here, and down goes Cass. This Soldier's already got Visor, and he is tearing it up right now. I'm just looking for a response to this Soldier. He's probably going to be looking to take this high ground soon here as Orisa's going to fight it out for the choke. It looks like Orisa's going down here. A lot of utility coming out on the side of Ripon, and Suzuki and the Kiriko ults are up here, but so is Tidal Blast and Domina's ult.
You can't hide.
I think the best course of action for JB would be to have some sort of flanker
Yeah, it looks like they're just being run down by this Domina Reaper here. Domina continues to take base. There's absolutely no headway on the side of JB. Gonna have to look for something here. Some sort of ult to take this Orisa just trying to play this joke really aggressively. Takes lots of damage, and then a whiff dominant ult there. Nothing coming out on that one. Looking to see 5 ults on the side of JV. Here's a large and diverse ult bank. We're going to see how that's going to be used here, as Ripon is only up to 4 ults. And out comes Kitsune. Back to the visor on the side of Ripon, and down goes 2 here. Mammoth and the Orisa just run down the visor soldier. Looks like they're going to be up 2 here for this fight. Looking to change the sides here as JV has the point. Alpha and Juno with the Wu Yang holding this, and Mammoth gets pushed off the map. Dragon comes out. Domina's quite low. Hanzo's going to look to finish this. Doesn't have. Oh, good hit on the Wu Yang. And the off angle here at high noon by Kai gets one, and then the Death Loss gets canceled. The team comes out. And it looks like another orbital here as well on the side of Ripon. Fighting, and then down goes Cassidy to that Juno, and looks like another dominant ult comes out, and 1v2 here, Orisa versus dominant and Juno, and down into the well for the second time that map. That is round 1 of Ilios here.
Wow. Lots to unpack there. Some cooldown usage issues on the side of JV, not saving that fortify when they're near well with dominant with push. A lot of running down main, and without a shield tank, running into that much spam is just not favorable for JV. They need to take off angles or go a Sig, some sort of shield tank, Rhine. Yeah, I mean, they had one really great push that was towards that final fight there. They only used Kitsune, and they won against, I believe, 2 or 3 ults from Ripon.
Yeah, it was the visor and the dominant ult there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell one thing that should not be happening on that map is the Orisa falling in the well.
That's just improper cooldown usage, but it could happen. We'll see how they adapt.
And it looks like we're going to be taking a strong down to the right here. Sticking the Orisa here, but you do see a Soldier spot. Fortify comes down. I think it's a more favorable map for the Orisa here, as Snarky gets picked off early by this Soldier. And like I said early in the game, this Soldier's been carrying it up with these off angles. And absolutely, and then he gets 3 here. Looks like he's just going to go running for this cleanup, as down goes Kai, and then complete team-wide. This guy just got 5, and he's 60% advisor already. They've got to come up with a solution. I think Sigma's probably their best bet.
Yeah, that's some tech there too, getting that high ground.
Yeah.
I still think a DPS swap to, again, be a Tracer, something more mobile than running down spam.
We do see a Reaper swap, I believe. I think this is probably going to swap down on that. But the Sojourn, I think, is going to look to the coming in angles as Disruptor Shot comes out. Dan goes Mammoth again to this Soldier. As Reaper goes in, he's going to look for a stop there. And they're just controlling these chokes back on well. I mean, they controlled about halfway into their spawn point here. Now they're just doing the same, just holding these doors almost. And the Orisa is walking in and taking a lot of damage, absorbing a lot of resources. We talked about that a little bit. And 2 ults on the side of Ripon, and down goes Sojourn here, as they just keep dominating these high grounds. Not much of a solution here, as Soldier is contested, goes back down and takes the off angle, and down goes Trabungus on the Mizuki. This Soldier is unstoppable right now.
Yeah, maybe like a Winston here even would be good, as long as AstroSteps can avoid that Reaper. Just getting people off these heights, or a Diva, just something other than walking down main.
We gotta see a Reaper TP with the Kiriko, and we gotta see a split here to be able to take some of this space away. And they push down the other lane here, and Shayna down, absolutely deleted the Domina. It looks like they're gonna be taking the top left here, as Ripon looks to regroup without their tank. Shield perk out here, looking for the Wu Yang on the left.
That was a good move, taking that shield perk for the top.
Visor comes down, and Orbital. Great Mizuki ult. As he can punish the Reaper, Mammoth is going in with this Orisa. As it looks for a cleanup. Reaper's quite low on the right. Looks like the opposing Reaper's going to chase that out. Reaper goes on high ground. Might be looking for an ult here. Yeah,
Yeah, teleport up top to the top of that pavilion there would be a great stage to try to pressure that Reaper ult there. Let's see what happens.
Rejuvenating. How dazzling.
Looks like he's tagging out that soldier on the left. Finally, somewhat of an answer for that. Reaper looks like Ruby is going to be taking an off angle, trying to get to the head of the side. Huge dominant ult, gets 3 or 4 here. Suzu, not enough to clinch that. It looks like I does get the Juno here. Lots of ults on the side of JV that we need to see used. And down goes the opposing side's Death Blossom. I going in on this soldier, will he get the pick here? 1 health. Oh, and the Reaper just barely gets out. Oh, and he gets stopped too short. I like to see that first fight win. I'm hoping to see, as this map is concluded on the side of Ripon, a little bit more of a response. Thoughts on that map?
Did we talk here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that Domina was just brutal for Astro Man to try to deal with, and then the soldier being almost completely uncontested most of the game. Like I was saying before, I'd like to see some sort of dive for that soldier. Maybe a Winston, maybe a Diva, Genji, Tracer. Anything that doesn't just have to walk down main would be great on the side of JV here.
1 second here. And just to mention, we are aware of the double audio. We are working to come up with a solution here from the game audio. But yeah, we got to see some swaps. I did like the swap on the Reaper. A lot of aggression being shown there, but we just got to see some more follow-up. And this Orisa to take a little bit less damage, demanding a lot of resources. I would like to be able to see the Kiriko not be playing with the Orisa and instead be playing and enabling these 2 DPS, the Sojourn and the Reaper.
Yeah, that and when you're taking spam like that on tank and Kiri's having to use Suzu just to cleanse damage and not like debuffs or cancel an ult or something, that's a huge util that's a cooldown that's being used just for like somebody's primary fire. Like that's a 0 second to like a 14-second cooldown trade. Yeah,
and I mean, until Orisa gets the shield perk, there's not a lot of value in sticking this Orisa. As the Domina is going to want to keep taking this 10-meter engagements where the Orisa, all they have is a primary fire. And once that Domina shield goes up, not a lot of solutions to be brought to the table on the side of JV.
The Orisa right here, I would like to see swap to a Sig, maybe a Hog, maybe a Domina Mirror or a Zarya.
And the bans are coming here. We picked Circuit Royale to play, as it is JV's map and ban. And they walked out with a Domina ban, which I think is a very strong ban, and we can talk about that in a second. And then Ripon responded by banning the Reaper.
Yeah, I think the Domina ban is good, but there's nothing stopping Ripon from just picking Sigma and playing in almost the same exact way with the soldier able to play in the same exact way. I would have rather seen a soldier ban than a Domina ban.
Yeah, and it looks like that we are swapping Mammoth out for Anti, and Anti is the team's Sigma player, which I think Sigma is extremely strong and even meta on this map, being Circuit. Thoughts on that?
I don't know that much about Sigma, but I would agree with that. I don't know how strong Sig particularly is into Domina. He's not bad into Domina, but he's not like overwhelmingly winning that matchup, as opposed to just being able to push past her on like a dive or a fast heavy brawl. But we'll see how it pans out here.
Waiting for some compositions here to be chosen, but I think, as I saw last time, they did struggle with oppressing they played Lawrence University. They struggled with shutting down the Widow. So I'm curious to see if Ripon has any snipers. They did ban the Reaper, so...
Yeah, JV's probably going to need an off after that.
I don't know.
with Sig, with his Eat, which is his main counter, whenever Mauga uses his, I think it's Cardiac Overdrive is the ability name, that's when you want to Eat with Sig to absorb the projectiles and stop him from healing. But then Mauga can just stomp on him, and not only does it cancel the Eat, but it doesn't give him his overhealth from completing it either. So Sig's gonna have to play cover a lot, use his shield sparingly, because Mauga also can shred his shield pretty easily. So we'll have to see how JV plays.
Yeah, and it looks like we're running a light Reaper Fury, which I actually don't mind. I do like the light Reaper on this map. Long angle, sustain here. It looks like Spider JV is going to try holding hard. And like we said, that's Ametryo coming in, and then there's a stomp. Grasp on Sigma comes out way too early. Now he can take all the space he wants here. Now gets at 700 HP, and Sigma's just withering down here, trying to stay alive. As down goes 2, as this Mauga gets whatever he wants. And once again, that grasp coming out way too early, and a clean up on the side of him.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about with that grasp there. They was just able to stomp him. I don't think he even got the cancel off, but it didn't matter. He just had so much damage and so much sustain.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this Ametryo just running down the Sigma, getting full charge here. Quick teleport to get out here. Well done. And we've got the Soldier and Cash, which I don't mind, as Cash rolls in here. Down goes Ruby on the side of Ripon. As Plumrock looks to get anybody in. And again, we have that early suck there. I do like the Sigma into the top. The Sigma is a pretty good effective counter against this Mauga, but we just have to wait for this Mauga. As out comes the Rune on the side of the Advisor, and deleted is the Soldier Advisor. As it looks like it's going to be a cleanup here. Tidal Blast comes out, and a very big grip there as Sojourn looks to finish off this Mauga, and down goes Cheese with the Tidal Blast. Sigma's trying to take a little bit more space, but this Mauga is just dealing so much damage. Just such a strong brawl comp as the Flux here gets 2. Down goes Symmetra, missed the rock there. As it looks like they're just going to continue to brawl it out on point here. We got to look for some sort of off angle on the side of JV, as the High Noon did come out earlier. Lots of damage coming out. Is the Soldier going to fall? Soldier and Juno. And it looks like Ripon's backing out of this engagement here. And again, we do see an early grasp. Is Mauga going to punish? No.
Yeah, the thing about Ripon's comp right now is that has been one long continuous fight for like 2 minutes. The uptime on that Mauga with 1 or 2 supports is just absolutely insane, and JB needs to be taking an angle and killing those supports so that they can have a break in a fight.
Realistically, if this Juno gets picked, and the teleporter here, and down goes Snarky with the Onron swap, down goes Ruby as well. They're going to be up 1. They traded a support, so this Mauga's not going to have any sustain, and down goes Plumrock, and it's a cleanup on the side of Ripon.
Yeah, they just don't have enough burst to deal with this Mauga when he's getting that much sustain. Like I said before, they need to be diving and killing these supports. Otherwise, Mauga's just going to live forever.
Yeah.
I don't think Mauga's died a single time.
This is a continuous, more brawly comp as we see a Onron swap here, as they're going to look to touch on this objective one more time, and down goes Plumrock early. Tree comes out. Sigma's trying to defend as the Symmetra is getting such high charge, burning down this tree. And Tree actually falls as Mauga goes in to clean up this fight once again.
Still no Ana swap at this point of the game. Well, they don't have a, well, Ripon doesn't have a cleanse at all, and there's still no Ana swap from the side of JV, which would probably not necessarily win them the game, but win them fights for sure. Get the Mauga cut off from his line of support. And that's a crucial piece that JV is missing right here.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think Sigma's a good tank to be stuck on here, but we got to look for some sort of answer coming down to this Mauga as... Oh, wow. And we see the turret attack there with the teleporter. Teleports both the turrets to attack the Cassidy and gets deleted in an instant. And the Onron going to get another Flux comes out here, doesn't get one, gonna try to live here, but this Mauga shouts and he jumps in and gonna roll that Sigma there as they're looking to clean up this fight.
Not biased at all. I would love to see a Junker Queen swap on the side of JV here.
I do agree. Junker Queen is a very good, not counter necessarily, but a good matchup as the frame places their advantage. But it looks like we got a fight going on here. Symmetra is going to get some pretty high charge here going down. Sigma's just going to try to hold on as Tree comes out here and Tidal Blast as well, and it's not looking too good on the side of JV as the LiQWYD is the last man standing.
So in that last fight, we saw Green Bay JV use 2 support ults, while Ripon used 1, and it's Wu Yang ult, which is not as strong as sustain as like a Tree or Kitsune or something like that, because it's just a one-time like shield health buff. And the Mauga still outlived everybody on JV. With no Ana, this Mauga is just able to do whatever he wants.
We've got to see a Zen or an Ana or a Mei even, something to deny this Mauga the resources that is not only developing just from the Mauga, but also the supports as well, because Juno Wu Yang isn't some crazy sustained composition, right? Like, they both only have a certain amount of healing output, especially the Wu Yang has a resource meter, and Juno has torpedoes and the primary fire, right? Like, it's not some crazy sustain. The Sigma has a lot more sustain, and we're seeing the Sigma get swapped out for the Diva.
I like a
which
Diva swap here.
I do believe is the hardest counter to a Mauga on the tank side.
Yes. The thing is, Diva either has to play cover or use her entire defense matrix. I don't know exactly how long the timings are between Mauga Shout and Diva DM, but Diva's gonna have to use their whole resource meter on that Mauga Shout, and with a Bastion, she's not gonna have a lot left for that to mitigate that damage, and that could prove troublesome for JV.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there, and we're gonna have to see either this Diva disrupt that backline, or we're gonna have to see the Diva. This is what I didn't like to see. This Diva's got to be taking some high grounders in different little spaces here, but they come out on the Bastion. Ooh, and a lot of damage taken by that Hanzo there. But just taking a lot of damage as the Hanzo, I think, actually burns to death as, oh, they're going to be looking to trap this Diva with the Symmetra. Very oppressive to be taking out in here. And as it looks like it's just, the Symmetra keeps going in and getting lots of chip damage. And out comes Overdrive, and he does defensive matrix in time there. But there's just so much spam coming from the side as Grip comes out there. Diva finally takes a high ground there, and oh, DMAC unfortunate. The Mauga is very low HP there as the Bastion turret looks to take out the Tree, and down goes Tree, but Ruby falls in the process as we're going to be looking to clean up this fight somehow, or taking advantage as Kitsune comes out here. JV did get ahead on the ults there. Lots of spam, like I said. They're going to be trying to just live through this as they got out of Kitsune on time.
Yeah, with that Kitsune, though, that was in a position where Ripon could just easily go around the corner and kind of... They did take space with it, but they didn't get the full effect of the Kitsune.
Yeah, as the Mauga finally dies. Huge pick there. We got to see them walk in on this as down goes Kai, but it's fine. We got to be able to turn on the Symmetra here as we get Dragon. Wall comes out. And it's not looking too hot as that Symmetra wall shuts down any chances of them being able to take spaces. This Bastion as Script comes out. Is the Hanzo going to get out here? Ruby falls to the Kiriko. I believe tried to teleport and get some damage in, and luckily taking a stop to that.
And maybe looking to get a big high noon now, maybe saving for Cage. If you lock on enough people behind the Cage, and you shoot all of your shots, it can just destroy the Cage in one go. So maybe that's what we're saving High Noon for. I'm not sure what's going on with the ult usage on JV side here.
Yeah, looks like they're just gonna try to set up on cart here, holding a really aggressive, but we have a pretty large ult bank on both sides of the table, but Artillery with the Bastion, not super strong, but neither is High Noon and Dragon. What we got to look for, maybe if this Mauga is going to go for a cage, we're going to either Dragon or High Noon that. And we also come up on Bomb as the Teleporter comes up top to take the flank, as Symmetra's taking an aggressive angle, and Mauga does get the Teleport off just before it breaks. As down goes Snarky in the midst of that. Dragon popped. Gonna look to take out the Bastion. The Bastion's won. As Artillery comes out to survive. As it looks like we're going to continue this fight, tree comes out. The Symmetra's only interest is taking down that tree, but it looks like it is going to survive for the moment. As Cage comes out here, and the grip
Huge
to
grip.
save the D.Va. Massive grip there. Oh, huge stomp there. Is D.Va going to be able to survive this? I'm not sure. And High Noon claims the life of Ruby, as this Cassie is going to continue to walk in. Turrets above. Down goes Bastion, and there we go. Finally, some cleanse there. Wu Yang going to go into the Tidal Blast, grips away the only victim, and it looks like they're going to turn on the Wu Yang. They do. Down goes Kai in the process, though. And there we go. That is a very good reaction there as Wall comes down. D.Va demaxed, and they don't have Bomb as they used it a moment earlier. Not looking too good on the side of JV here as down goes Snarky and the D.Va as well. They're going to try to look to live, but it's not looking good for the side of JV here as down goes their attack and map 2 in the process.
Yeah, some thoughts. I think D.Va was playing too aggressive when she didn't have Bomb. We saw D.Va dive into Mauga cage there. To be fair, the cage was up when they dove in, but you know, the ult was there, and D.Va didn't have Bomb, which is her second life. Yeah, just the fact that no supports were swapped on the side of UWGB JV was kind of their downfall there. I think an Ana probably would have won them the game if all other factors remained the same. The D.Va was a good swap, but the Symmetra was just walking around for the most of the time unpunished, able to TP in and out. I think if they focused that TP as soon as she went in and she was stuck there, that would have been almost a free pick every time, but TP does have a reasonable amount of health. Yeah, I mean, just good plays by Ripon. Some good swaps and plays by JV, but it just wasn't enough. And we'll see how bans goes. I expect to see either a Sim. Oh, they already banned Sim. Maybe a Mauga ban, but then they'll just hop back on Domina. They might want to ban a support and just have Ripon play on supports that they're less comfortable with and maybe disrupt that sustain to the Mauga or Domina.
Yeah, I do know that the primary support or the main support that plays the Wu Yang does fall back onto a pretty strong Mizuki. And the Juno player also has a Mercy in their composition, as well as Mizuki as well. So I would have liked to seen, instead of maybe the Hanzo, a Sojourn. Sojourn's really strong in Amalga, one of the biggest, not necessarily counters, but also, yeah. You farm a lot of charge off the Amalga, you shoot the back line and just repeat, repeat.
Right, yeah.
And Disruptor Shot, I think, would have done a lot of work in the middle of those team fights to stop the Symmetra from taking such an aggressive main angle.
I think a Sombra swap would be pretty decent on the side of JV if they continue to play Mauga, not only because you can hack him and get rid of his overdrive, and then Virus does chip damage, whatever, able to dive the supports, but then you could save EMP for Cage and EMP the Cage. I believe Scribungus plays Sombra?
Yeah, Scribungus plays Onron, May, and Sombra as well. So maybe some swaps on the support side if they were looking to do so, but I'm more interested to see who they're going to be putting in on the tank as they've swapped tanks twice now, and we are awaiting the map and band selection. As you see, they are discussing that right now, so we're going to have to see some comfort map, maybe some comfort picks here as they look to mount something.
Yeah, I think the issue with the tank roster on the side of JV is if they put in Astrid to play Orisa, then they just play Domina. If they put in Anti to play Sig, then they just play Mauga, and even Domina can be like a even fair match for the Sig. So no matter who JV puts in, it's not the tank matchup that's going to be what they need to swap to win the game here. They're going to need to have more effective bans, play characters that can take those off angles and disrupt the support and backline. So I don't know how important the tank matchup is here, personally.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just trying to find some sort of pick, but like I said, they need to start respecting the beams on the side of Ripon and trying to kill this Symmetra that's walking. They did get quite a few picks from the Cassidy onto that Symmetra as they continue just to walk down main. They got to find some sort of stop.
Yeah, and if the sustain on the Symmetra is too great that they can't get the picks on it, if they can't stop the Symmetra and kill her when she's doing the TP in and diving, then they need to play more mobile characters that can get out of the range of the beam and not let her get charge, which is why Sigma wasn't working, because the Symmetra can just farm charge off the shield, and then her beam is so strong, she just melts through Sig's grasp. So I think a Winston would be fine as long as they're staying off that Reaper, but some sort of tank and DPS composition that can get away from the Sim or burn her down fast enough that she can't get charged.
I would also like to see even a Zarya with the Reaper. I mean, it's run a lot on our team on varsity, where you just bubble the Reaper and the Reaper goes in, and Reaper can melt a Domina in probably 4 good shots if the sustain is strong enough, right? So just something to be able to enable this Reaper or whatever they're running so they can take a more aggressive DPS approach instead of having to play off the pressure in main. We got to see some taking of the space. I mean, I didn't really like the attack from JV either, where they didn't take a lot of the high ground. They didn't occupy the bridge.
Yep.
It was a lot of just sending down main, where they've got a Bastion and a Symmetra, right? Like they're going to be owning main. Like that is their go. You got to be taking a lot of pressure, drawing resources away to be able to mount anything.
Yeah, I happen to know that Junker Queen and Zarya work really well into Ripon. So I'd like to see
that they do
some sort of swap here from the tank side, although I know that's not their most comfortable comp to play. But if something's not working, you got to change it. Keep running it down isn't going to help. I know it's a comfort pick, though, and it's hard to break out of that, but the way it's going, just some swaps need to be made. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be taking a lengthier approach to discussing this for this final map here. And we've also been notifying they're having tech issues on the side of Ripon, so they'll be looking to resolve those before we head into our hopefully not last map here, as it is a best of 5. So JV hoping to mount a reverse sweep against Ripon. It's doable. They've beaten this team before.
Crazier things have happened.
They've just gotta wake up, change some things, or maybe not change some things, but take a different approach to these team fights.
Yeah, and like you just said, we know either team is capable of beating either team, because right now it's 2-0, and the JV team beat Ripon 2-1 in LAN. So as Ripon has the advantage of now, we know that Ripon's capable of beating JV, and as we know from LAN, JV is capable of beating Ripon. So we just need to know, on the JV, they need to know what's going wrong. They need to know what swaps to make. And it's really just a mental thing from them, I think.
As it looks like JV wants to go to Coliseo, and they are going to be banning the Soldier, taking away those off angles, hopefully, on the side of Ripon.
I like that ban. That goes back to what I was saying about I don't think the tank matchup is the most important thing here. I don't think banning the tank is really the way to go for JV. And Soldier is their most dominant DPS on the side of Ripon. And then I believe there was a Lifeweaver ban from the side of Ripon, which makes sense as the grip saved Sigma or Diva from Cage, saved a lot of their DPS a lot of times. So
yeah, and objectively, Orissa's not bad in the Mauga, but Mainly for the side of cage. Orisa can fortify and just walk out of cage, which is not known to a lot of players, but it's pretty stupid strong. But there was a recent change like a few months ago that Orisa no longer prevents the force crits on Mauga. So even if she fortifies, Mauga can keep getting that lifesteal or the overhealth and the lifesteal.
Well,
yeah.
this also goes back to what I was saying before, was if even if they put in Astrid because they want Orisa into Mauga, because it is an advantageous matchup, their tank doesn't need to be subbed out, and they can just swap Domina, and we already saw that Domina was a winning matchup against Astro Mammoth there. So it's it's like playing rock, paper, scissors, but your opponent can change their answer after you did, and you can't, because JV is stuck on one tank or the other, essentially.
Yeah, they've just got to be able to find a way to get these other variables into play here. I really like to see a split, some more pressure created from all the off angles. But I just don't think running it down as 5 is their best choice.
I would agree with that. That's one thing that we try to do a lot on our team, is taking that 3-2 split. I think that would be very effective here, but it depends on the map. Like I was saying on Ilios when Kai was trying to take that off angle on Domina, that angle there is so narrow that her shield just completely cuts off that angle, and he would have had to go all the way around or peek after the shield had some segments destroyed already. So it is doable depending on the map and the angle, and you just have to be patient there. I'll be interested to see if they keep sticking the same DPS, though. I mean, the Cass is kind of necessary for the Reaper if they continue to run that on the side of Ripon. I don't believe they did on Circuit, but the Reaper was very strong with the Juno on Ilios.
Mm-hmm.
And Cass should, in theory, be good into Sim, because you can just flash her and, like, does he 2-tap with Flash to the head?
To who?
Sim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
So,
without Flash.
in theory, like, in a mechanically perfect world, Cass kind of just destroys, like, any DPS. But in the real world where people miss shots, it's not always going to go that way. But I don't think Cass is bad into Sim, and I think Cass is good into Reaper, so I think they should stick Cass for sure. But they need some other DPS to go either on an off angle if the Cass isn't, or somebody like a Reaper to stay with the tank and allow the tank to put more pressure if they're playing Mauga still.
Mm-hmm. I do like to go back and talk about that Soldier ban. Soldier is quite strong in Colosseo with all the different off angles and there are longer sight lines, particularly on the 2 spawn points as the robot gets pushed further, and also that first starting one where you've got a very long stretch of room where a soldier can beam down a Cassidy and whatnot. But it looks like from right now they're going to be sticking with Anti in. So as we saw the Diva and we saw the Sigma. I did think that went significantly better than the Orisa, unfortunately, on Well, as they just got outbrawled with the Domino.
Yeah, I would agree on that. And especially the Soldier ban is good on Colosseo because, like you were saying, there's a lot of height and off angles. But also, the bridge height, you can basically just stay there for like 2 or 3 separate engages because you can walk over to the height with the health pack and shoot into like main there, and then when they come around the corner, you can sit on bridge there, and then when they push under the bridge, you can still keep on setting up on bridge.
Yeah. As it looks like we are loading into Colosseo here, ready to start what may hope on the side of JV be a reverse sweep, or on the side of Ripon be the final dagger.
Alright, let's wait for the comps here and see what they're running. I think sticking the Diva would be good personally. I think Diva went much better than Sig, but they also had ults on that. I hope he's trolling.
I think he might be trolling. But, I mean, hey, maybe we just haven't seen Anti's Doomfist here.
I've never even seen Anti step foot into Doom Sumo. I don't even know. There we go.
As it looks like
Okay.
he swaps his
Okay.
sig at the last second, and it also looks like they're just going to be late to the bot here. Just giving Ripon, I mean, they also have the
Sim has the
Symmetra,
TP, so yeah.
Symmetra gets all the real estate to start to decide what they're going to want to do.
I mean, this is basically the same matchup. It's just the map that's different.
Yeah, as it looks like we've got the Sojourn cast against the Sojourn Symmetra. Running into that Sigma here, we're going to have to be looking to keep that Symmetra off. As the Sojourn just keeps taking these pretty nice uncontested off angles as Grass comes out and, oh, Kai on the off angle picks off that Sojourn. He is turning it on right now.
Yeah, that was a really good rock on that Domina there. And like I was saying before, this essentially plays the same as the comp that Ripon had last time, with just a Sojourn in for Soldier, which doesn't play too different in my experience at least. I defer to you on that.
For what?
Sojourn playing similarly to Soldier.
Oh, yeah, except so down goes to as the tides shift quickly there as Wuyang goes in and cleanup fight there. Not sure what happened, but it all just collapsed. But back to your point, yeah, Sojourn plays pretty similar to Soldier, but that rail is an effective permanent part of her kit.
Yeah, as opposed to Helix, which is on just a hard cooldown.
Yeah, as we've got to look to contest this Sojourn on the top there, but JV's going to have to look for an answer here. We're taking the bridge height here, but I'm not sure they're on the same page as this Sigma's trying to brawl it out. Chained as the Domina. Shield comes down, saving her. Symmetra wall comes up, but Kai gets another pick onto this Sojourn, and he's just winning the duel. But he does fall to the Symmetra playing pretty aggressive, and Scribungus falls as well. Sojourn on a pretty crit level here as Domina's going to look to take this space.
Yeah, I just think the cast, Kai was just playing too close to Sim wall there.
Yeah, I don't think he was too aware as the Symmetra TP comes in. Down goes Ruby though from the TP as they're going to look to get a pick on this Domina here and clean up the fight, and which they do. They did get forward spawn though, and all of them are going to be getting that as well, and they're up pretty quick. Going to have to be able to see how to turn that as almost equal ult banks here. Overclock, just not quite yet.
I think Anti just highlighted an underrated part of Sigma right there, where he was able to go up and just brawl the Domino when she's by herself.
Yeah, and
huge pick.
Kai falls to the Sojourn Disruptor shot, and so does Sojourn. Flux comes out when he's down 2. Mizuki ult as well, such an overcommitment as the Symmetra and the Domina don't really care about a Mizuki ult, but a huge overcommitment on the side of Ripon as well, so it's just an even trade there as the blast comes out, and so does Domina's ult, so they're still looking at 2 ults apiece here as Overclock and High Noon come up, and the absolute destruction of Symmetra there as Kai wants to claim another, doesn't get to. And they're just going to have to look to brawl it out here. Going to High Noon. And it gets the Domina. That's a fair play there. As they're going to have to look how to approach this next upcoming team fight. Is a big chain by Scribungus there. Overclock comes out from Plumrock. Having trouble finding a target here. And he gets low and not a lot of value. And oh, but they do trade. They get traded there. So Overclock for Overclock. Not a whole lot there. Orbital comes out on the side of Ripon. Trying to brawl out this Sigma as Symmetra wants to claim that as Chain comes out, but Mizuki's too far up and oof.
One thing I'd like to point out is, even though I believe Domina and Sigma use their ults around, like in the same fight, Sig is up almost 20% on ult charge here.
Yeah.
So I think there's so much damage coming out of JV, but it's not leading to picks. I think maybe it's a comms thing, maybe it's a target pile thing, but this damage needs to amount to something.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look and how to enable this cast a little bit more as he sweeps the Reaper here, and he gets the Sojourn quite low, but going to be able to get out here as Wraith comes out, and Ruby's going to try looking for a pretty aggressive dive as the Sojourn comes up, and if that shot lands there, supports are in trouble. Kitsune comes out from Snarky Goblin as it claims the live of Sojourn and Symmetra, and it looks like it's going to be a fight win from JV here, all things go well, as Cheese falls to the Reaper. Great dive and execution there, and they finish the brawl on Domina.
I would have liked to see a stagger on that Domina there and give her timer, but I mean, you can't be too picky. You're winning a fight, so I mean, that's a huge step for JV. But JV is winning alt pool right now, alt economy, so we'll see how hard they commit. We've had a problem with both teams overcommitting alts.
Yeah, as Onage falls low here, and they're going to be able to recover as Blast comes out as just Desperado from the Domina here, as it looks like they're just going to be able to clean up and finally, oh, but the bot is being taken right now 2-on. It looks like they're going to be able to clean that up fairly well, though. As they do stagger quite a little bit there, they actually get the same timer, though.
That is a huge fight win for JV, though, because they're coming up on forward spawn here, and I don't believe that anybody's realistically going to be able to contest and survive here.
Yeah, as it looks like the Onron and Domina are going to be taking this flank angle, trying to brawl it out, as they do get forward spawn. Tidal Blast comes out at Cheese, and so does Wall. What is going to be the response is down goes Scrubungus. Death Blossom here, gets Onron, gets stunned into the wall, no Wraith. As they're going to have to look for cleanse here, as Flux comes out, Symmetra falls, and it's just too much to handle. As it looks like this Onron's going to come in, and TP comes out. Will he be able to live? No Suzu here. Traded the supports here, but it's just Sig against the world as the Mizuki ult comes out and he lives, and he gets the Domina. Huge turn there. The Mizuki ult saves him just in the nick of time.
They did win the fight, but I will say, I think if Flux came out sooner, they could have won that and taken lead.
Ooh! Denied is the Symmetra as a rock just meets him in the faces. Onron comes out here. They do get the trade. Down goes Plumrock, but so does the Onron. Even fight here. Down goes Kai. Oh. 2 meters short here is the cart, but this is the strongest this JV team has looked.
This is very winnable for either team, I will say that right now. And alt economy favors JV right now.
Significantly.
So one fight turn is realistically all it takes for either side here.
We're going to need to look at maybe Kitsune to engage here just to be able to clean this up, all things considered, as Sigma falls quite low here. A lot of overhealth. Symmetra, oh, Reaper falls quite low. Kitsune does come out. Missed rail there. Big opportunity. As it looks like he's unloading into that payload bot there. As it does look like, though, a turn maybe, as Sigma does live. 3 goes down on the side of Ripon. Only 1 ult being used, and this Metro is just messing this Sigma up. But it looks like they do win this, and they...
If they get a stagger on this Wu Yang here, that would be absolutely huge.
Wu Yang goes out main, wrong way. As he dies, Onron's behind. Death Blossom on the side of Reaper here. But so does Flux, not sure what he's looking for there, but Mizuki ult comes out. Domina's just looking for a pick as Death Blossom does come out, gets 2 there. A lot of commitment there. 3 ults as the overclock used on Waze. Tidal Blast comes out, and he just gets deleted.
Wow. No exaggeration, that might be game deciding there with that Tidal Blast coming out, because now Flux is there for free. They don't have anything to stun him besides push him into a wall.
As Wall is going to be the only ult that they're coming up on, as Anti's going to be looking for a big Flux here, hopefully, as it looks like the Symmetra is going to be lining up for a nice flank here with the turrets as the Reaper gets booped off. Flux comes out, gets 4! Oh, Wall comes down.
Huge.
Oh, but he's getting messed up. Suzu comes out, saves him. They're going to be looking at the Symmetra here. Symmetra goes down as they're pushing the bot even further. Domina, and now just Wu Yang to clean up the fight and end the game, potentially, as the Onron's going to try to live. Onron ult comes out. Oh, down goes Plumrock. Traded for the Juno, though. This Onron needs to die as he's getting close. Kitsune needs to come out now. In fact, yesterday. And here it comes. And they need to kill this Onron. There we go. Huge chain from Scribungus as the cleanup and the Blossom as well.
Wow.
Reaper just goes off that game.
What
I think
a
was
turn.
that 3 Blossoms or 4?
I think it
A
was
lot.
3. Wow, what a turn. I don't know what changed between running Sig into Domina on, was it Circuit? And running Sig into Domina on here.
No, that was Mauga. They didn't play Domino on Circuit. They
Oh,
banned Domino.
They ran Sig into Domina at one point,
Yeah.
I think. So, I don't know.
Houdini
Tech! Houdini
Tech!
Tech!
As the Blossom, this is just what we saw here. That's crazy. He gets 4 there. He is known to not be able to use the teleport for any other reason besides the Houdini Tech. When we played him in our round robin match, I don't think I saw a single teleport that was not the Houdini Tech.
I believe that to be true. Like, wow. I mean, ult usage wasn't spectacular, but they had so much damage output that they just kept on getting their ults back. So, I mean,
Yeah,
that
they
was
really
an insane turn.
they really turned it on at that second half of Colosseo when they didn't just start throwing ults away. And I don't think that Plumrock is too comfortable playing on this Sojourn.
Yeah.
Not a lot of comfortability with Rail and not a lot of comfortability with Overclock, which is one of the best ults in the game. So
It's also a mechanically hard ult to use because you have to consecutively
significantly.
hit shots. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Their ult usage on Sigma. I think Flux needs to come out earlier multiple times. Kitsune needed to come out earlier. It didn't end up mattering because they had Mizuki and Kiri ult. They just dumped all their ults at the end of the fight. But if that game depended on Kitsune there and they didn't use it sooner, that would have been a lost fight for JV.
I agree. The Flux at the end got 4. That was pretty nuts.
That was insane.
Yeah.
The sim wall, it was a good effort to try to stop it because it won't stop the actual Flux itself from getting the damage, but it'll stop you from trying to clean up because Flux takes away 50% of max HP. So let's say you're at full health, you get Flux, there's no sim wall there, the entire team just shoots you and you're dead. But if you get Flux, you're behind a sim wall, the follow-up's going to be much harder. So the right idea was there, but JV was just so close that they could just walk through the sim wall and it didn't matter.
Yeah. And looking at chat here, I have an E4 question mark. Is that a chess reference? I think it might be. But yeah, E4 is the best. That's by test, as Bobby Fischer once said. As it looks like we are going to Suravasa, and Ripon does not like this Mizuki from Scribungus. So back-to-back target bans coming to this Scribungus. Kind of crazy.
I do believe the Mauga is just going to run rampant on Suravasa.
I'm liking to hopefully ban the Mauga.
I think that would probably be best. Just the mobility, the sustain, the open, or not open sight lines, but like all the points have like openness around them. And then in the middle of almost every point, there's some sort of cover or shielding from the outside. And it's going to be hard to take angles on the supports if the Mauga is just like in your face on those points.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree there. So hopefully they keep continuing this. I'm hoping, and I think they're going to be keeping ante in as that Sigma was very strong in Colosseo, and it's a pretty close map too, especially with the way they were playing it. And they banned the Bastion.
Who banned Bastion?
Green Bay is going to ban the Bastion here, which is not what I'm looking for, but maybe they know something we don't. As I think Reaper just kind of demolishes Bastion.
And they didn't even play Bastion on Colosseo.
And Sigma is good in the Bastion. I mean, as long as you play your cooldowns right. Not sure what that was, but
I think that's actually pretty detrimental to JV because Bastion would be one of those characters that would be able to have sustained damage on Mauga if they do play Mauga and just output a lot of damage on him. And without an Ana swap, that's like the only way to deal with him on a swap eat his healing bullets, burst him, or kill the supports. We're not playing Diva, and Sig's Eat gets destroyed by Mauga. We're not taking those off angles to disrupt the support. And then you just took away a really good tool to try to burst down the Mauga by banning Bastion. I mean, the Reaper is still there. The opportunity to swap to Zen is still there to try to have that option to burst him down. But between all of those, I think that Bastion would have been the easiest to just try to burn the Mauga, personally.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is going to help them if they don't run the Bastion, but I'm just not sure if they were going to run it. That's the thing that we got to be using bans correctly. But maybe they know that they run Bastion on Survasa. I know they've played this map against Ripon before, so we just got to look how it's going to shape out in map 4 as Green Bay hopes to mount and tie up this match, and Ripon looks to stop it.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, both teams are capable of beating the other team. We saw that. We've seen that. We just saw that. They just beat them on a map. And I don't know if it's a comm issue, if it's a mental issue, what's going on. But they hard turned on Ripon there and won pretty decisively. So I don't know how the Bastion ban is going to help them with that.
Yep. So we're going to be looking how to mount that stop as we are going to be right back and taking a slight intermission, if possible. Never mind, they're getting in the game. No intermissions. We lied to you.
Why is my team captain throwing?
Oh, and
We've loaded into Coliseum.
Snarky DC'd. So we are going to be taking that break. We will be right back. And we're back, and we are going to Suravasa in map 4 as Bastion is banned, and as is Mizuki, like I said earlier. The second target ban, suspected target ban onto the Scrimungus.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mizuki's a good pick. They're probably going to be running the Soldier again now that he's off ban, and he wants the Visor, and he doesn't want Mizuki to completely negate his ult with his ult, so I think it's a fair play. I expect to see Soldier again, and I hope to see some sort of resistance, some sort of swap, probably DPS side, if not playing a dive tank to try to push Soldier off of height, put any sort of pressure on him to get him off the angles. But I guess we'll see comps here.
Whoa. Looks like we're walking out on Mercy.
Looks like we're walking out on a pocketed Soldier, no Mizuki, and I guess the Reaper to counter the Soldier here.
Yeah. As it looks like we are going to be running somewhat of a more brawly comp slash poke.
Must be fun at parties.
As we just got to see some more confidence on the side of JV.
I agree.
We're not playing into this Malga, so we're not going to get oppressed the whole time, and hopefully Kai's able to just target this Mercy and just demolish, you know?
I think on the side of JV, we need to see confident ults to engage and fight rather than react.
Yeah, and this Soldier's not going to die under normal circumstances here, so we've got to be able to see 2 jump on that as total height control as Kai kind of just gets melted on that LOS as the fight wasn't happening yet. Really goes down 1 as this Soldier just looks to demolish the Sigma, and the Sigma's getting pinched and he dies. As Ruby uncontested on the flank, and lots of ult charge coming as 60%. A high charging ult is quite crazy.
This is where I was saying a Queen would come in handy, not only to pull people off of height, but if the sim is getting in your face like that on Sig, it is so much harder to hit both your primaries than it would be just to shoot somebody and then axe somebody with Junker Queen.
Yeah, we just didn't see any communication there on the side of JV where they needed to be able to communicate with the Reaper as he goes in again, and lucky to live there as the barrier gets demolished instantaneously as Disruptor comes out, and a lot of damage being taken on the side of JV, and the Reaper goes in again. Not really finding much value there. As Symmetra just walks down and MS paints that Reaper. Rock comes out, tags the Reaper, or the Soldier. Scrimungus taking the 1v1 with Symmetra, gets him disengages. Sigma's getting absolutely demolished by turrets and continues to get so. Rez comes out with the Mercy in the wall. Looks pretty one-sided here. Is not sure what he's doing. He goes in and promptly gets demolished for touch. Yeah, nothing really there. They're just getting brawled out here.
Yeah, I think continuing to run this poke brawl hybrid into such a strong brawl is just not going to work out for JV. A Ram, it's moving in the right direction. It's more brawl than poke,
the Ram,
but the sim is still there. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but I don't know if it'll be enough here.
He's gotta, as he gets taken down a crit instantly. As ult comes down here, and Tree as well, saving the team there. Sojourn falls, so does Snarky. LiQWYD's a bit too far there. Ramacho's going to be looking to take some aggressive fight there as Soldier identifies the Reaper on the high ground, gets pulled there, and saves Ramacho to live another second or 2 here. As Reaper on the top right, they're going to have to try to look for some sort of answer here as a lot of damage being taken. We do find 1 pick here, Sojourn onto the Wu Yang. We got to see how these ults are going to get used here as we're still coming up on overclock and just gets taken down by the Symmetra.
One thing that I've noticed is Reaper went up and cleared the high ground by himself, and the team didn't capitalize on it to push up and take that height control.
Yeah, not a lot of value being found on Tidal Blast here as Reaper falls to the Soldier. As Rand's just going to get teamed down. live. We're going to see the Reaper swap off. A few points away from Blossom there to the Cassidy as he just promptly gets dismantled. And it looks like they have no answer to this Soldier as he hasn't even used Visor yet. Coming up on the second fight, no initiative being taken by JB as their ults just come up empty-handed for the most part.
I mean, we have seen 2 swaps with more than, I'd say 60% charge. Reaper definitely was more than that, and the swap to Ram was a while ago, and he's still only at 80. The ult economy is just what's going to win Ripon the match at this point.
As Cassidy looks to be taking some off angles here as Ripon wants to engage on that hold there as Ametryo falls quite low. Only coming up on Tree here in Kitsune. Annihilation soon to follow. As Kitsune comes out, it looks like a whiff dominant ult. Wall comes out. Is he going to press Annihilation? He is. Visor comes out as well. Claims the life of the Soldier, and he's just one and he falls. And it's just LiQWYD and Cass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, gets a Symmetra, but oh, and he gets saved. Mercy's out in the open, not able to capitalize on the Mercy being out. Cassidy falls quite low and does die to this Soldier who's just dominating behind a barrier. Sojourn a little bit too far there and gets punished for it. I don't like to see DPS in front of the tank like that unless you have some ability that's going to keep you alive, as Symmetra and this Dominar are going to look to take this room here and wait far. It's not looking good. In fact, that is going to be the match there, as maybe not. There's one on point. It's just a lone Cass, claims the life of one, but it looks like there is no touch.
Guess the big iron on his hip wasn't enough for that.
Yeah, and it looks like that's going to be all from JB and Ripon as third place match. Ripon earns that in a well-fought battle to come back from losing that third match.
Yeah, I think that Annihilation on point, I thought that would win them the game, but I believe it was just a miscommunication of where Tree was placed, because if you're in Annihilation, you have to be by the enemies, otherwise your ult's going to run out.
Checkmate's bench. My bench is 185 pounds for 4 reps. I haven't done any more than that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, that's all. Great game. Well fought by both sides. And thank you for tuning in. Yeah. Adios.